All right, we're live. What's up, folks? So I am live streaming some coding stuff today for remark-embedder. I just want to grab this link really quick. Don't bother with chatting in here. I'm not going to be hanging out there because people can be mean sometimes. So if you want to join in the chat, then the place to do it is right here on in Discord. So you can find Discord at Casey or yeah, go to kentcdons.com/discord. And maybe I should just add that note somewhere. Don't chat in here. Go to Discord. I don't want to take the time to turn it off because it rarely works anyway. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Hi, folks. So yeah, just going to be working on some open source stuff, and thought I may as well live stream it because why not? So that's what we're here for. So this is going to be a new package that will have a pure dependency on remark-embedder, and yeah, and it's going to be interacting with oEmbed. And I was researching earlier. It is, let's see, what is the package? Embed. Shoot. Embedder or oEmbed parser, I think is what it's called. Yep, this is the one. And it works pretty well. And the code isn't all that complicated, but I'm thinking that I want to write it myself because they do a bunch of extra stuff that I don't really care to do. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so they have the providers JSON that they like commit, but you can actually get the providers from this endpoint. And so I think I want to get the providers from the endpoint directly. And what else did they do that yeah, it just seemed like they had a bunch of stuff in here that I was like, I don't think I need all that stuff. So I think I'm going to write it myself. We'll see how bad that is. And if yeah, if it's a pain, then I'll just use their thing. So yeah, here's how this is like total scratch. I haven't done any of the actual open source work yet. So you can see what that looks like right here. So if we go KCD OSS, this is going to be, we're going to have it be remark-embedder. It'll be under that scope / oEmbed. If it makes sense. Oh, whoops. That's right. We're actually going to cd remark-embedder oEmbed. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so KCD OSS. Oh, right. Yeah. For some reason, npx now does not work if you don't have a package JSON or something. I don't know. It looks like it's looking for it right there, but anyway, we'll just init. And there we go. Maybe I should just put a package JSON where it's looking for it. I think this is a bug though. That'll hopefully be fixed eventually. But yeah, so this is my KCD OSS is a alias for npx. We install the package yo and the package generator KCD OSS, and then we run yo KCD OSS. And that is what generates my open source stuff. So we're just waiting for npx to install both of those packages. All right, sweet. And the name of my module, it defaults to the name of the directory, but my module is going to be called at remark-embedder oEmbed. And they should not install it as one of the dev dependencies. Like I can't really say, so I'll just say no. And actually, I should probably make it so that I just don't add a -- save at all. It's just npm install the thing. Things have changed. Okay, so this is a, hold on a second. Why did that change? I'll have to do a find replace for that. This may be necessary to update my generator so that it handles scope packages because it never has really. Okay, so description, a remark-embedder transformer for oEmbed supported links. You know, it just occurred to me that we're going to run into a bit of a problem because remark-embedder expects you have a should transform URL thing, and it expects that to be synchronous. I know what to do. Anyway, we'll get to that. Yeah, there we go. And yes, we'll override. And now that we've got this, we'll pop open this. Hey, what's up, Michal? Are you watching on YouTube? I don't see in the you can join the Zoom if you like. Okay, but in any case, what's up? Okay, so we've got our TypeScript thing we're going to install as a dev dependency, remark-embedder core. And then we'll also have this listed as a peer dependency. Okay, cool. So then peer dependencies, remark-embedder core. This is going to be greater than or equal to 1. Yep, that'll do it. And because it's a scoped package, we need to update this. Yeah, here we're going to change all these first. So this is going to be remark-embedder oEmbed. Place all those. And then for the rest of these, yeah, the rest of these will simply be, except for the project name, we'll have to fix that one. Remark-embedder oEmbed with the @ symbol because it's scoped. And let's fix the all contributors thing. This is going to be that. There we go. And then what was the other thing? I forgot. I needed to fix. Oh, right. I need to, because this is scoped. So I need access public or something like that. Yeah, publish config. There we go. That should be ready to release now. Okay, cool. So I love this sort of thing when like it's a very clear picture in my mind of what it's going to be from the outside. I don't know like exactly how it's all going to be implemented, but I know what the outside's going to look like. I also know that we're going to be making HTTP requests, and I don't want to do that in my tests. So we're going to npm install as a dev dependency MSW, as we can mock those out, which would be awesome. I wonder if I've got server listen. Yeah, nice. And I think we'll just start with this here. So here, let's see. MSW node. Yeah, sweet. Get rid of this. Grab rest. We don't have those. Beautiful. Okay, so then we'll have, I know for a fact that we're going to be making a call to this thing. So we'll say rest get and rec res and context. Okay, there we go. What is this complaining about? Oh, right, it's not an array. It's just a bunch of arguments. Okay, so we'll say our return context, or wait, nope, sorry, it's res JSON, and it's an array of providers. Let's find Twitter. That's probably going to be my main provider to test here. And yes, it will be a transformer. Yeah, it's going to be great. Okay, cool. So, and yeah, we'll probably want to have at least one other, but we'll get to that eventually. Okay, so then we've got the server up and going. So now, oh, yeah, that's a good idea, Michal. I'm not sure what the latency is on this, so I don't know if you're far behind or not. But yeah, that's a good suggestion. Maybe transformer oEmbed. Yeah, that makes more sense. So let's do this. I'm going to save this. We're going to close this. I want to rename the folder first to transformer oEmbed. There we go. Bring this over. So everything that's here is going to be transformer. And I think that's actually everything. That should cover all the things. Yep. Cool. Okay, sweet. Good suggestion. Okay, cool. So now, yeah, the other thing that we're going to need as dev dependencies, I don't think we'll need them as actual dependencies. If we're doing, if we're exporting types, we might, it might need to be a dependency, maybe. But for now, I think we're probably fine to just go as a dev dependency remark and remark HTML. And yeah. Yeah, okay. Cool. So with that, then let's actually, I'm going to copy paste from core. Just, y'all can hear me, right? Because we have somebody here who's saying in the Zoom that saying they can't hear me. So let me know if you can't hear me.
We can hear you.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at. Yeah, Michal, that peer dependency is intentional because you wouldn't really have any use for this package without using remark-embedder core. I can't think of a use case for this package without it, so yeah, it's useful to include it as a peer dep. Okay, so I was looking for this. I just want to grab a couple of these things up top. And I may need to disable ESLint too for some of those things. Okay. Stick that, whoops, right there. Okay, and for our transformer, we actually don't need to worry about that because we're going to import. We're actually going to grab import transformer from index. And I'm thinking, actually, this should be a named import. I'm just thinking what's the most common way people are going to use it. Probably as a default import, but often they will be putting this inside of a Gatsby config or something, which I don't think, at least mine is just common.js, I think. Let's see, Gatsby config. Yeah, so it's just common.js. So that'd be super annoying to have to require it and then say .default. But if I do a named, then you'd have to do a dot something anyway. So heck with that. We're in the world of ES modules. We're gonna just, if you aren't using ES modules, myself included, then you've got to do .default. So yeah, here's our transformer. Remark-embedder is gonna come from a remark-embedder core. And then there's our transformer, and we also want to override the cache or clear the cache every time. So our cache is going to be new cache, new map. I wonder if we should be able to pass null as the cache for remark-embedder core to say, hey, we don't want to cache anything. That could be an interesting feature, pretty much only for testing, but this should be fine for now. Transformer, and it's saying that's not safe. Okay, and hold on a second, just noticed something. Okay, so let's take a look at building this thing out. Yeah, so a transformer, here, I'm gonna open up a code editor for core really quick. So I'm getting tired of copy pasting things. Yeah, a simple transformer is just like this thing. Huh. Yeah. So the name is going to be remark embedder transformer oEmbed. Actually, I wonder if it would just make more sense to say require package.json. That's fine. Who cares? I'm not going to change the name. Export const should transform is actually just going to be a function that always returns true, because I need to process every URL to see if it's an oEmbed URL. I need to check on something about that though, with the way that our logic works. So let's see, should transform. Yeah, okay, that should work fine. I feel like maybe the cache key should also have the name of the transformer in it. And I'm kind of starting to think that should transform should be async. This would not be a breaking change though, which would be nice. So it doesn't have to be async, it can be. And the, yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. That way, because my thought was we'd just say return true for all of these, but then get HTML would do the check and then just return null if it didn't want to transform it. Yeah, which is interesting, but I don't, yeah, I think, yeah, I think we're going to change this to be async, and we're going to update the cache to allow you to pass null as the cache, and if you don't want to do any caching. And I wonder if actually we should just remove the default cache. That would be a breaking change. But literally nobody's using this yet, so I think I'm going to call that a fix. Yeah, Michelle, let me know if you disagree, but I think that would be a wise course of action to just not have a default cache. Before we always had one because it was Gatsby's cache, but now I'm thinking let's not cache unless they pass a cache, and I'm going to treat that as a fix. So, yep, that's that.
And what's the reason you don't want to have a default cache?
Because there are two reasons. One is for convenience in testing, where every single one of these tests needs to be isolated from each other, and so we don't want to have a shared cache between them. So there's the convenience aspect. But then further, I think adding caching adds complexity, and it may be surprising for people to all of a sudden have their stuff get cached. I don't know, unexpectedly. I feel like it's something that you should opt into. I don't know.
We're using the cache with the original Gatsby remark-embedder. We're using the cache to not do the fetch of like Twitter or something like that multiple times.
Right, but the only time that it has much relevance with the default cache, the only situation where the default cache could help is if you're processing a bunch of markdown files that all have the same Twitter URLs, because once the process is over, then that cache goes away. And so in the documentation, I talk about how you'll probably want to persist that to the file system so that it works across compilations. And so the built-in or the default cache right now isn't all that useful anyway, because it only works during the lifetime of the process. And it's unlikely that you are processing all of the same URLs in a single compilation. So if we wanted to make it more useful, we could have it actually persist to disk or something. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, more like thinking about your blog too, because you have like multiple articles with the same Twitter status
Yeah,
posted
it's
inside.
true.
So
But I think for anybody who cares about that is going to need to use a cache that persists. And so they'll need to implement their own cache anyway. Like, so yeah, there could be a marginal benefit to not making those additional Twitter requests. But considering that I have so many tweets, I need to have a cache that works across compilations anyway. Otherwise, my compilation is going to take a really long time. And so given that I would have to have something like that in place, then the default cache still isn't useful to me. It's just not enough. And that's what I'm kind of thinking is that it's only marginally useful in small cases. And in those cases, providing your own cache is important. Like you need to do that anyway. So the use case is for a built-in cache. And then it comes with the cost of people not expecting a cache to be to exist anyway.
yeah, sounds good to me then. Yeah, it looks like it's explained well in the docs. So if people really need some caching, they can find it, and yeah, they know how to do it. So
Yeah, I would like to figure out some sample code or something to just to make it more or just easier to do. And maybe there's a package that would make this easier too. But anyway, I am going to change the cache key as well. So this is going to be transformer name as well. And actually, we're going to say and there's no longer a built-in cache. You could pass your new map, but that would only be useful during a single or during the life of your process, which means it probably wouldn't be all that helpful. Okay, and then eventually we can add something like this. A lot of people are going to be using it, using Gatsby and stuff, and that's so that they have a cache. That works fine. So yeah, I need to fix the embedder options so that cache is, oh yeah, it already was optional. Oh, right, because I defaulted it. But yeah, we're just not going to default it anymore.
And if people are using Gatsby, they could use Gatsby remark-embedder, so
yeah,
it will work automatically for them out of the box.
Yep, exactly. And this is not ordinal. Okay, great, cool. So let's fix the name as well. This needs to have or name. There we go. And I'm pretty, I think one of the tests might fail. I can't remember. Yeah, no, it doesn't. So cache still works. Oh, and actually here we don't need to provide a cache anymore. So that's convenient. We only care about the cache when we care about the cache, which is actually that test right there. Oh, and actually we do care about the cache there too. Oh, right. The rest of these, I didn't care about the cache at all. I just let it cache and I just use different URLs for everything, which is fine. Okay, cool. So that's that. And since you're right here, I'm just going to go ahead and push this to main. So this is going to be a fix. Remove useless default cache. And then, yeah, things are good. So then we're going to should transform async, which should be pretty straightforward also. So this returns a promise resolving to a Boolean or a Boolean itself. And I'm surprised that that is not giving me, no, I guess not. In the event of a promise, this would just go to continue. But in any case, we'll just say await. And this is gonna be mad at me for, oh, because instead of a loop, dang it. Yeah, maybe we should just do this. Return. How bad would it be to extract this to a separate function? I kind of feel that just accepts arguments. I thought about doing this earlier. So this would be function transform or handle transformer or make transformation, something like that. And then here we'll take our transformer and config, or here, transformer config. There we go. Okay, so yeah, we've got our make transformation with the transformer and config. Yeah,
Big transformation should be async. Oh, it's async.
Yeah, what's happening is we're pushing a promise, and then we are waiting that actually, I like this better anyway. So instead of an array of functions that return promises, we're just going to do an array of promises. So now we don't need to do that. We just do this. There we go. So the promise is kicked off inside of the for loop. Ooh, no, there was a reason I did it this way. Because if the transformation is synchronous, then you can mutate the tree as we're visiting, which is not good. So yeah, actually we've got a simple solution for this. This is easy. We'll just make push a function. There we go. Okay, cool. So then this is going to be a transformer, and this is a transformer config. Cool. So then
I really love TypeScript.
Yes, I know. It's awesome. I really do feel bad that it took me so long to decide to really jump into it, because I don't know. It feels like yeah, I just should have done it for my open source earlier.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to it, but once you're used to it, you don't want anything else anymore.
Yeah.
Or at least that's my experience with TypeScript.
Yep. Okay, so then we also need the URL string and the cache and the paragraph node. I think that's it. So we're going to turn this into an object, actually. Config URL string paragraph, or we'll just call it the node. Okay, so then this is going to be transformer is a transformer. Transferable, no, transformer. Config, transformer config. This is a string, and the node is a parent node. Nope, just parent. Actually, it doesn't matter. It can be a node. Oops. And then paragraph node is going to be node. Oh, right. And we need a cache. And the cache is the, what did I type that as? Remark-embedder. Okay, so somebody explained to me why I can't do that. This is a type. Oh, right. I need to do this for some weird reason. Anybody know why you have to do that? Why dot syntax doesn't work? It's just really weird to me. Okay, so then this is going to be that. And we need the URL string. And the cache and the node. Node is the parent or paragraph node. There we go. And actually, we're going to call this URL. You know what? URL string makes more sense because we have URL objects. So there we go. Is that any better? I don't really think it's any better. I'm just going to put that in my clipboard, but I don't think that's better. So we're going to back it up. Seems like it added a lot of extra stuff I didn't want to have to do. Okay. Whoops.
Can you tell me why we do like push and don't map it?
Why I'm pushing the async method?
Yeah.
So this is inside of this visit call, which is happening as remark is traversing the tree. And if we make transformations as that's happening, I don't remember why. I probably should have made a test for it, but I remember that if you make transformations as you're visiting, it can mess things up in the traversal. And so what we do instead is we visit, or we go through the whole tree, find all the things we want, put those in callbacks, and then when it's all done visiting, then we execute all the transformations we want to do.
Okay, sounds
I
logical.
actually, sorry, go ahead.
No, it sounds logical what you're saying. So
Yeah.
I was just wondering why you did a push instead of a map, but yeah, the array is outside of the visit callback, so it's
Oh,
logical
and
to
actually,
do it like this.
now that you mention that, the reason I was doing a push instead of just mapping this was because we had the should transform outside of the transformation thing, but now that's going to be inside, so we can just do a map. And I think that might make more sense. So transformations, yeah, okay. Map, and this will be an async function that takes the transformer and config. And that's this, actually. We'll just do this.
But your transformations are still used outside of the visit callback.
Yeah.
So you
So the,
can't declare it
oh,
there.
right. Yeah. No, that's, and not only that, but map is actually going to call this function. We don't want to call it. So if we wanted to, we'd have to do this.
Yeah.
Which we can do, but I don't know if that's any less complicated than the for loop. So we're going to go back to the for loop. I think the for loop makes more sense. Yeah, this is better. It's the least bad. So now I'm starting to wonder, what's the value of should transform? The only thing it'll stop you from doing is attempting to get the value from the cache, because get HTML right now already has the ability to say, if there's nothing in the HTML, then just return. Yeah, so the only thing that should transform is going to stop you from doing is retrieving that from the cache.
We
And if you,
used to have a should transform in the Gatsby remark-embedder. For instance, if the get HTML is doing some some long stuff, some long calculations or something like that. So yeah, we don't do those things if the URL isn't valid for this transformer.
yeah, but what I'm thinking now is what the transformer is doing and should transform could just be added to the top of their get HTML. And so at the top, before they go and make requests or whatever they want to do, they just say, should I even transform this URL? No, I probably shouldn't. I'll just return null. And so we just combine the two things. So like if we go to Gatsby plugin, or yeah, remark. And we'll look at the YouTube one. So here we would just take all of this code and put it right here above this line. And instead of returning true or false, we just say if this is false, then return null. So then you
Yeah,
wouldn't have the should transform. You just have, you define get HTML, you'll get a URL. If you don't want to transform that URL, then just return null.
yeah, it sounds more like user-friendly, I think, or developer-friendly in this
Yeah,
case.
I think so too. But it is a slight difference in functionality because before, if your should transform returned null, then it would not even touch the cache, but now it will. Now it's going to touch the cache. However, if you return null, then we're going to get HTML as null, and so we'll call you again. So yeah, it actually is functionally equivalent. So that's what we're going to do. And because nobody's using the package yet, I'm going to call this a bug fix too. I probably shouldn't have released 1.0.
Probably.
Yeah, I sometimes get eager. Just want to do that, get it out. So now a transformer is only get HTML and the name. Part of me is thinking maybe the name should just be attached to the get HTML function. The only reason we use the name is for the cache key and for error messages.
And for the config.
Oh, I removed the config. So now the config is similar to
We don't have the services thing anymore. That's right.
yeah, but
So we don't
Gatsby
need the name.
plugin or Gatsby remark-embedder could keep that services config if you like that. That's the only reason I decided to just go with it without asking you first, is because you can, when you wrap it, you can pretty easily keep the services config the way that it was. So yeah, kind of thinking because as it is right now, with the changes that we made so far, you'd need to export a name and then get HTML. But if we did, if we made it so that the name could be attached to the get HTML function, then it'd be, well, the name is actually going to be get HTML. You cannot change that. But we could do transformer name. Which one of these do you dislike the least?
I think I'm more in favor of having a separate name than
Yeah, me too.
putting it on the get HTML function. But if it's only used for like one little thing, we should look into maybe removing it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because the name was really like introduced for the services config key.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't used for anything about caching or stuff in the Gatsby remark embedder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah. But
Okay, so what
but now
if?
you're using the because in Gatsby remark embedder we have like one big cache thing
Yeah,
with all the URLs and all the transformations. And
right.
now you're like separating it on a transformer basis. Um, so yeah, it's more like a preference, I think. I don't really think there's a big difference in if we go for one or the other. But because you don't have the services config key of the plugin anymore, um, yeah, it's not used anymore in the Gatsby remark embedder. Because there it's only used for the services config key.
Yeah. Well, let me think about if we were to remove the name, and we could. I'd be okay with removing this in the error, or actually, yeah, that we would have to remove that because there'd be no way to identify which transformer caused the trouble. We could say what index it was. That could be helpful, but
Yeah, I like
yeah,
the idea of having the name of the transformer that caused the error inside of the error message, because yeah, then you know, okay, you have to report the bug here or there, and otherwise you're like, I don't know where it came from. So I like the idea of having the name inside of the message.
yeah.
Um,
I think that's probably reason enough to keep it. The other thing that I was thinking is I do like having the cache key caching each transform individually. Yeah, so I think let's keep it, and this is fine.
mhm.
Yeah, it's a transformer module. And some people could probably do like import name from package JSON. Is that a thing? And then export name. What is this complaining about? Oh, huh. I'm surprised that's not in the built-in config. That might be something to add. Yeah, and actually we could say export. And then we just say, hey, if you're making a transformer that's a package, then you just do export name from package JSON. What does that look like when it's built?
So because we're doing this, shouldn't we just remove the export from for the name from package JSON and just use it inside our code?
Um, sorry, what was that?
So in the index.ts, we remove the export
Mm-hmm.
and we do an import in our code. Oh no, because no, it's no. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken.
No, that's
I
okay.
wanted to say to use it inside of our transformer inside of our plugin, but it's not. Yeah, it's not possible
Yeah,
like
we don't know where it's coming from. Now, if they could pass us a oh man, okay, come on. Let's try that one more time. They could pass us the path to their module, and then we could look for the package JSON at that path, whatever. But I don't really ever like APIs that do that. So this is interesting. The type declaration got ended up in the source directory. I'm pretty sure I know why that's happening, because as soon as we are grabbing the or we're importing one directory up, then TypeScript has to say, oh, okay, well, we'll go one directory up and then we'll compile everything relative to this directory, which means the source directory goes in there. So that's not going to work, at least for the way that I have things configured, which is a bummer. I don't actually really care too much of just doing this. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, that's fine. It's fine with me. Okay, probably should add this to the TS config though, the shared TS config. Okay. So considering that, we are going to keep the name and we'll have get HTML. I'm actually going to just change this to transformer. Okay, yeah. So this could actually be, yeah, string or null. So if they return null, they're basically communicating, hey, we're not going to process this. So if they return, so we could say if HTML is null, then don't even bother calling getHTML because they already told us that we're not going to transform this one.
Oh.
And it's probably not a big deal to just call it. So we're going to just call it. We could do this one day though, if anybody complains about, hey, it gets called and I keep saying, hey, I don't care about this one, but it's not a big deal. You shouldn't be doing anything too expensive earlier anyway, unless, let's say that you make a network request in there and you say, oh, actually, no, it's fine. I don't need to transform this one. So we return null.
I think we're doing it for one of the transformers. I'm not 100% sure. I'll have a look.
So in the oEmbed transformer, what I'm going to do is we will we'll cache the provider's JSON. So it'll just be like a, what is that? A singleton, a lazy initialized singleton thing. Where if we haven't already set the provider's JSON for the oEmbed stuff, then we'll go get it, and then we'll save it, save it to a variable, and then the rest of them would be really fast. So I think that's probably okay. So let's stick with this. We can optimize it later. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. Cool. So I gotta update some docs. Should transform.
No, it's fine. I just look at all the should transforms and they all do, yeah, just some includes stuff. That's all. Nothing really special there.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna move this down here. And we're gonna say if not this stuff, then return null. So, or if it not includes host, wait. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this. Should transform. There we go. And we'll get rid of this. Oh, I forgot to remove the docs about services after I removed that. There we go. Okay, cool. And then the cache is good. And should transform, get rid of that. Okay, so get HTML actually will be called to have been called times once. Well, there's only one URL there. Oh, and the cache will actually have a length size of 1. But we're going to change this. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so I do feel a little bit guilty that we're going to do a breaking change here, but I'm really positive nobody's using this yet. So I'm okay with this. Okay, so we're going to commit this change. Here, let's just do this. Oh, right. I think I mentioned the key. Oh, yeah, I did it. Okay, good. Let's actually do it dot name. Try that again. Yeah, remove should transform in favor of checking in get HTML. Actually, I'm going to do one other thing before pushing this up, and that is I want to add an example. Making a transformer package. Here's what our simple example would look like as a transformer or making a transformer module. Let's write this in TypeScript actually. So import type transformer from remark-embedder core. And this will be our URL. Okay. So here's what I suggested people do for the config. So I suggested that the config can be whatever you want. And so what would be best is if you make the config be a function that accepts the URL and anything else, like even the HTML, and returns the oh no, here it is. Yeah, so I say, hey, expect the config to be a function that accepts the, oh, that's going to be wrong. There we go. Accepts the URL and the HTML, and then that can return the HTML that you want. So that way people can modify it however they want. They're like, oh, for this one, I want it to be special and I want it to do something different. And they can do that in the config. But now I'm wondering, like, I pretty much want people to do that all the time. And so what if we just add that as a feature where you could say, yeah, like modify HTML or something. And so then this would accept the URL, the HTML, config, even transformer. Yeah, I could just take the transformer. Then you could use the transformer name if you wanted to. You could switch on the transformer name. Say, hey, I want to modify the HTML. I'm going to make this. This is a feature. Yeah, that just gives people a silly amount of power. Because the thing is that I've definitely run into situations where I'm like, hey, I would use this transformer if it also did this other thing. So I'm just going to build my own. I'll copy it and change it a little bit. This will be especially useful for the oEmbed thing where we don't really define what the HTML looks like. We just use whatever oEmbed gives us. But if I wanted to, for example, on the Twitter one, they send a script tag, but I don't want that script tag. So if I wanted to get rid of that, then I could just modify the HTML. Here, it gives you a lot of power. This is inverting control. You wouldn't need this all the time, but yeah, it'd be really useful lots of the time. Yeah, so.
With the Twitter transformer, the script is by default excluded.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, but that what I'm saying is when we go to the oEmbed API, then we're handling all oEmbed supported sites, and I don't want to have like some logic specifically to say, hey, for the Twitter one, don't just exclude the script or whatever. I'd rather. I mean, actually, I tested it, and it doesn't matter. Even if you leave the script in, it's not a big deal. It ends up being 6 either way. So for most people, that'd be fine. But I don't want it because I want to be able to customize that script. And so this would give me the ability to make modifications without needing all the transformer authors to follow this pattern for their config, where the config actually gets called with the URL and the HTML. We just build that in as a feature, which would be really easy. We can just say modify HTML. This could even be async. So then we pass the HTML, the URL string, and the probably not the paragraph node. I don't think that would make sense. Yeah, that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, the transformer, we could pass that, and then they could key off the name or whatever. Yep. And here we'll modified HTML. And then here we'd have as one of the options, modify HTML. Let's put this down here. Oh, and actually, it could return null too. You could say, actually, for this one, I want to just leave it like it is. Yeah, that would be interesting. So then you don't have to override transformers just because you have one edge case. We just flip it and say, here, what do you want to do with this one? Do you want to modify this one? So yeah, then this could actually be that, and then we'd have options that are, yeah, the URL string and the HTML. I'm going to call this URL. The type says it's a string. And what else did it? Are we passing it the transformer?
And
Oh,
it's
and the
optional.
config. Sorry, what?
It's optional.
Oh, why is it optional?
Because people don't have to pass the modify HTML.
Oh,
feature.
right. Yes. Thank you. Sorry, I thought you were saying the transformer was optional.
No, it's that's fine.
Okay, cool. And then this can take that modify HTML and it can default it to something that just returns the HTML. And now this is probably no loop function. Oh, wait, what? Oh, because this is awaiting. But wait, no. Huh, when did this happen? Unsafe references to variables. I think it's transformer config, maybe? Huh, that's weird. Oh, config. That's what we want. Yeah. I'm thinking so then here our type would say that it could be a string, but yeah, I think this is more correct. So this would actually be gotten HTML. So that way we say, hey, we're gonna let the transformer do its thing, but then you've got a like global config, whatever, for this specific use of remark that says modify HTML, and we're gonna give you all the stuff, even the transformer and the config for the transformer, and let you do something to it. And then, yeah, you'll know if the transformer did anything to it because HTML will be null if it didn't. Let's see what a test looks like for this. But I think I like this. It's pretty low level, but I think it's the right low level. None of the tests should fail right now. Yeah, okay, good. So modify HTML can modify HTML. That's not very useful, but it's all right. That's interesting. I would expect this modify HTML to, but maybe because it's being passed as the function or something like that. So this is going to be, how do you do this? Can I do as?
I think you have to type and just a fan. So modify HTML. Yeah.
We're going to need to grab the better options. Oh, it's already declared in the upper scope. Where's that coming from? Oh, remark HTML. All right. Okay, this is complaining. Oh, it's never used. Try that. There we go. Nice. Okay, so then we pass that, and then we don't care what this is called with. This time we actually just care, or actually we do care that modify HTML is called with something. It should be, I wonder if it should actually have the same API that getHTML is. So it's a URL config, and then it could be an object that has the HTML transformer. No, because you're like always going to want to modify the HTML. That's what you're doing. So you need to get the HTML. So no, that's good. So we'll say URL is this, config, HTML should be, yeah, we're going to maybe need to copy paste this. Actually, let's see calls to match inline snapshot. Let's just see what the snapshot gives us. Oh, here, we only care about that first argument. That's fine. Okay. Transformer is a mock function too, so we get all that. Okay, probably don't want to do that. Expect object containing. There we go. Or wait, no. We'll say expect any string and transformer. I think that'll pass. Yep. And then we can get more specific on modify to have returned. And it should return a string of HTML. Mock calls return. Oh, we don't want calls. Hold on a second. Results. There we go. That's what I want. Results. First result. Value. Actually, you know what? I can just get the result here. Result. Ta-da! Nice. Much better. Should have been called with any string. I don't know. Maybe this should be just hard-coded to what the transformer returns. So get HTML. We'll just override that. Okay. Oh, right. It's going to be called with just transformed. And then we can make this a variable. Here we go. Actually, this is going to be transformed HTML. All right, and then it's not going to be an iframe anymore. Sweet. Modified, transformed. Booyah. Yeah. Okay, so I think this API is nice. It allows you to modify any anything that any transformer transforms or doesn't transform, actually. So even if these return null. And so then it would be your responsibility as a modify HTML user to say, I don't want to modify this one, or I do. So you would say, oh, is this a Twitter URL? Oh, it is. Does it happen to be this one that is special or something? And you can make a modification there. Yeah. That's good. That's good.
This gets me thinking about maybe some people want to interact before the get HTML is like triggered. Maybe some people want to have like a before and an after hook, something like that. They want to say, okay, if it's Twitter, it can just transform for me, except if it's this URL, then I don't want to transform it.
Yeah, yeah. So we could do a modify URL. Or we could do a
modify HTML before and maybe modify HTML after. And
well,
if the before is like returning null, then we don't have to do the get HTML.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe
then we will have like really spaghetti, because some people will expect that if you return null from the before, it won't trigger the get HTML and the after, but some people will maybe want to have it to trigger the after too. Yeah.
Well, I can't imagine if you return null from the before, I can't imagine somebody expecting that the after would get called.
Yeah, maybe that's true.
Yeah, maybe the API would be more like modify before after. But what's interesting is that we're modifying two different things. So here we'd be modifying the URL string, and then here we'd be modifying the HTML. So I think modify URL and then modify HTML makes sense.
Not really, I think, because what I'm thinking about is like you're having so you're using the Twitter transformer, and you want to say, okay, the Twitter transformer can do its thing whenever it wants to do it, except when it's coming across this URL. Then we don't want to have it transformed, but we don't want to change the URL itself. Because maybe we want to, maybe we have two different transformers, and we want to say, okay, for Twitter, we don't want, so the transformer of Twitter itself doesn't need to transform it, but my custom transformer does need to transform it for this specific URL. So
Yeah.
you want to break out of it before get HTML is called.
So if we do this, so then you could return null or false, and just say, no, we're not going to modify that one, or we're not going to transform that one. The other nice thing is with Twitter, well, I don't know if that really applies, but like these, yeah, because this is the other thing. It's like maybe you want to have the config be based on the URL as well, which actually we can do that here. So whoever's authoring this stuff can have stuff for the config for specific transforms.
Maybe we're just complicating it too much right
Yeah,
now. That's
I think
also
we might be.
possible.
Yeah.
I like the idea of having like our custom modify HTML thing. But yeah, like I said, it got me thinking, and maybe some people want to have a before hook, maybe some people want to have an after hook. Like you say, maybe some people want to have the config dynamically.
I think that we could make for the config, we could make that be optionally a function that we call and then pass the result into the transformer. So if you give us a function, then we'll call it. And then transformer authors could say, if you want to, yeah, well, then they can do whatever they want.
But if we call it, we have to pass arguments. So
yeah, but the arguments we could pass would be the URL, which is probably all they'd ever need. Is like for maybe you've got YouTube videos, and normally it's 350 pixels high, but you've got this special YouTube video that you're like, I want that to be 600 or something, because it was, you know, a phone taken in landscape or whatever, or in portrait. And so then you'd be able to do that with a function-based config. So I think that's nice. Being able to modify the URL, I think that one, that one's probably, maybe we're too early on that. I know that I have a use case for this. So for Egghead, or actually, yeah, yeah, it's Egghead. I have my affiliate code that I add to all of the Egghead links. Of course, Egghead's not, like I have my own transformer for that. And it's not hard to do that. So maybe the whole idea of overriding configs is not a problem.
The affiliate code can be hard coded in the config for the transformer, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that, yeah, that wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
So modify
Actually,
HTML.
at least that's what I was thinking, because there's like a pull request for, or an issue. I think there's both an issue and a pull request for Egghead in the Gatsby transformer, Gatsby remark-embedder. But I've waited to like merge it because of own transformer. And also because I wanted to add the possibility to change the height and width and to make it responsive, because in your transformer is like a responsive one, and at this moment it's not supported in Gatsby remark-embedder to make things responsive. So I was still thinking about how to do it for like all the video content. So that's why it's not merged yet. But the things I was thinking about back then were like indeed for your affiliate code, and there's some other parameter that's passed too. I can't remember it right now, but I know it's there. And those things can just be put in the config of the transformer.
Yeah. I think that yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty confident that modify URL shouldn't happen right now. It feels like a premature optimization. Modify HTML. Yeah, that's a premature optimization too, or like a premature API.
Yeah, I think we have to think a bit more about how we want to handle a before and after hook, and we can implement this one later.
Yeah.
If we thought about all the possibilities, I think.
Yep. I think I agree. Okay, we're just gonna get this out. And transform authors can do this, and you can always override the transform. You just put your transform in before the other ones that you have, or just don't include the transform that you don't like. Transform code isn't a lot normally. It's normally just a little bit. This oEmbed is going to be a bit, but I think that I actually changed this. I think this should probably go back to this. So that way you only have the first transformer to do something to it is the one. No, that actually is not good, because that would be the first one that finishes doing something to it. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, because if you have like a code sandbox one and a Twitter one, and you have a Twitter link and code sandbox runs first and returns null because the code
Right.
sandbox transformer doesn't do anything with the Twitter URL, then it will be null inside of the cache.
That's right.
So Twitter will pass by it, and then it will be like, oh, it's cached as of null, so I just return the cache.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good catch. Just thinking, if I wanted to use oEmbed, but I don't want to use the Twitter handling from oEmbed, and I want my own Twitter transformer, then how could I make sure that only Twitter handles the URL? And that's where the should transform, that's the feature should transform can do that get HTML can't. Dang it. And actually should transform can still be asynchronous, but we just need to run them sequentially. Yeah, I think we need to bring should transform back, but we just need to make it asynchronous.
But how would we? So we have like the should transform. We have a Twitter link and code sandboxes run first, so it passes false.
Well, so no, what would happen in that situation is the Twitter transform would return false. And so then it would say, okay, I don't care then. It'll move on to the next transform, which is code sandbox, and that would return true. And then it would go through and only have one transformation, and that would just be for the code sandbox one.
And what about the fact when multiple transformers return true?
Yeah. So yeah, this is what I
So
mean.
if you have a Twitter one and the oEmbed one, for instance.
Yeah. So it would, and this is why they need to run sequentially. Even if it's async, they need to run one after the other, because we'll just take the first one. And we'll only let the first one that returns true actually transform it. And so that way you get to control which one wins by just saying, setting the order. And so then the oEmbed can be like your fallback. It's just the last one.
Yeah, sounds logical. Maybe I'm thinking a bit too far right now, but what if you want for one URL use Twitter and for the other use oEmbed?
Yeah.
Then we might have a problem. But again, maybe I'm thinking too far right now.
Yeah. Well, for that one, actually, it just occurred to me, I wouldn't have to override the entire, so let's say you had that situation. You could make your own transformer that that handles all Twitter URLs, and then inside of that you say, well, I actually only want to handle these couple Twitter URLs or something. And if it doesn't match those, you still return true, or no, actually you would just return false from, and then it would continue
Or you
on
could
to.
even just like have your own Twitter transformer and use the official Twitter and oEmbed one for that
Yeah,
case.
you just call it directly yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're separate packages, so you could use them separately.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's handled then too. Yeah, then I don't have any weird use cases anymore in my head.
Great. So I think we're bringing should transform back. That release was an accident. But should transform is now going to be async. Revert. Oh, revert failed. Actually, here, I can't remember how to see the diff for staged files without, crap. Man, that's annoying. Yeah, so that's fine. Oh yeah, this isn't needed anymore. Yeah, that's what we changed. Okay, yeah. So I think we're good. And let's revert. Oh, I haven't released that yet. Oh, sick. Ah, sweet. I didn't actually release that. Good. So we're just going to go here, reset hard to that commit. Nice. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't push that stuff. Good. Okay, so I do want to rename this to remark-html though. Okay, great. So let's make a better decision here. Promise Boolean or Boolean. And then with should transform, this is going to await should transform. And we just wait until the first one that doesn't return false. And that's the one that gets to transform it, just like how it worked before, except now it's async. We're just going to ignore this. Yeah, we don't want anything async inside of this visit callback. It should all happen synchronously. So I think this is what we need. We need to have, const URLs, or let's see, nodes. Yeah, actually. So this is going to be our array of nodes, or of parents. Whoops. Why is that so mad? Oh, because it's not used. Jeez. Yeah, and then we'll push it right here. Maybe we'll push it here once we know that it's a valid URL. And maybe, actually, we want to push the paragraph node because that's what we're going to modify. And so the parent. And then the URL. And I'm going to rename this to URL. Well, who cares what it's called right here? URL string. It's going to be a URL. So now this is actually an array of parent and URL string. Oh, parent node. Okay, sweet. And then the rest of this can hop out. And we, yeah, we'll just put that right there for now. Now we need to do an asynchronous filter of all of these nodes. So nodes to transform. And actually, this isn't nodes anymore. This is nodes and URLs, I guess. Yeah, we'll call them nodes. Yeah. Okay, so then we've got nodes to transform. That's going to be nodes. Well, it's going to be an array. And then for of the no, or we have the parent node and URL nodes. And then here we'll say if, yeah, and that's where this is going to, oh, wait. Yeah, we're going to need to do another loop.
Filter this, right?
Sorry?
You can just do a map and a filter, I think.
No, because it's going to be async.
Oh, okay.
And because we want it to be sequential. So we got we iterate all the nodes, and inside of those we iterate over the transformers. And transformer and config should transform. Here, let's just do this. Wait. URL. And this is going to complain, but this time we need to make sure this is completed in sequence because the order matters. Whoops. Okay, and yeah, so then this will actually break. And this will be nodes to transform, push, node. We're going to actually do this. It's not really a node. We'll maybe figure out a better name for that. But TypeScript helps us a great deal, so that's nice. Okay. Probably should give that a real type, but I still don't know what to call it. So ooh, we could actually also give it the transformer. Still don't have a good name for that, but at least it's typed, so that's nice. Okay, cool. So we find the first one that returns true for should transform, and that's the one that gets to do it. And then we can map these to promises because we're outside of the visit, so we can actually execute this now. So we'll map async parent node URL and transformer config. And that's all this stuff. Get HTML. I'll probably rewrite this, don't worry. So this isn't happy. Oh, right. Transform and config. And parent node and URL. And I betcha, here, this is going to be promises. I'll betcha a high five that these tests pass. Yes, high five. That's always fun. Thank you, TypeScript. Definitely was good assistance there. Okay, so that's the refactor. Now we got to make it not awful. We don't need transformations anymore, which is cool. We just have nodes. The visit is shorter. I like that. I want to make this is valid link a function, actually. No, I don't. It's fine. It's fine where it is. That part looks fine. So nodes to transform. It's not a transformation. It's not a node. It's not a URL. It's all of those things. Type of that. Yep, that's what I was worried about. This.
I think you have to do type of transformers and configs bracket 0.
Oh. It's an array of those things. No.
No. The
Bracket
type
0?
is an array, and you want to have one element.
Wait, sorry. I'm not following.
So now you're saying...
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you. Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So I'm not happy with this type, and I'm not happy with this type. It's actually what I'm not happy with is the name, because the name is not what the type is. But I'm not mad either, so I guess this is sufficient. Yeah, it's fine. So I'm gonna do this so people don't hate me forever. Yeah, this is cool. Yep. Okay.
Maybe nodes for URL as a
Yeah.
name of the array.
Node for URL or nodes for URL. That makes it sound like there's one URL and here's all the nodes for it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Node and URL. Node and URL. And then here's node and URL and transform and config. This transform and config thing is messed up. I think I should change it to transformer, to an object transformer and config. Yeah. So this will be transformer t at 0 and config t at 1. And this will be transformer, and then config is optional. This will be transformer config. This will be a transformer. Oh, T. Okay, forget that. Well, yeah. I got that mixed up. T at 0. Or just T. Yep. Yeah, that's much better. And this will be at index 0. Yep. And then oh, actually, we'll want to keep that. Well, why? Transformer config. We'll pass that separately. Transformer config. And then this can simply be so then this will be an array of transformers. Transformer and config. Actually, here, let's communicate the types and the code the same way. So this is actually going to be type of transformers and config transformer. Is that, oh, man, this is so weird. Yeah, that's more correct. And then
I think you can even spread the type.
Oh, you can spread it? Oh, that's
I think
interesting.
so.
Maybe, is there a spread operator? No. Yeah, it's just not liking that
No, you
syntax.
don't have to spread it. You can just you can do transform and config ampersand and then your object.
Type of.
Type of, and yeah, I think that's it. No. Yeah, that's it. No, you have to do 0.
Oh, 0. Yes, of course. Sorry.
Because it's an array.
Thank you. Yeah, that's much better. I like that. Yeah. Okay, so then we have transformer and config. And
you can even with the second one, you can even use the type of the first array.
Sorry, right here?
Yeah. So you do array of, and then type of nodes, the first one, node and URL.
Oh,
Yeah, that one. So the type of that one you can use in the second one.
Yes, that makes sense.
So type of that also 0.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is an array of the same thing that these are arrays of combined. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And actually what we're going to do is transformer and config. And we'll spread those. So that's communicating exactly what it is.
Yes.
Yep. That's better. Still don't like the name, but at least the types are much better. Yeah, that's great. I like that. Okay, cool. And the tests are all passing. And I didn't release a breaking change on purpose and then regret it. So that's good. This has been a good, productive day so far. So let's just update our should transform docs say or promise Boolean. It's async, asyncable. What do you do? Do you have a preference? Do you always do the promise version first if you ever do something like this?
Mostly I only do the promise thing then. So I don't do the synchronous thing.
Yeah.
But I think I would put the promise thing first because maybe that's the one we want to push.
I think for lots of people, they don't need the synchronous one or the asynchronous one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think my rule for this, all this new decisions I have to make, but I think my rule for this is going to be put it in order of what you expect people to use most often. And so that's this for here. For get HTML, I actually think that people are most often going to do synchronous here as well. If you're writing your own, because we'll have oEmbed, and that's really the only one where you're hitting an API to find out what you're supposed to use. Everything else is like, oh, I just know that it's an iframe or something like that. And so you just hard code it. Most of the Gatsby remark embedders are synchronous, right?
Yeah, most of them are synchronous.
Yeah.
Except for like Twitter, YouTube, yeah, Instagram, Twitch. No, Twitch is synchronous. Yeah, most of them are synchronous.
So this is not cool. I think we need to export more type or better type stuff. This is one area I'm not super positive on. Yeah. So is this the API we expose to people? I don't know.
It's logical to have a transformer type, but I think it's also logical to have a get name and should transform type.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you always need both. So,
I mean, you could also, if you're doing common JS, you'd say as transformer. Then that'd be nice. Or would that work? Maybe this is transformer. Is that possible? Can you do that?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't think so. But you could say and then module exports. Yeah, see, that would be nice. So common JS is actually easier. I was struggling with this with Ryan the other day when we were talking about loader modules for Remix. It'd be really nice if TypeScript had a way to say, this module exports this API. But that's not a thing. Unless I'm mistaken. That would be a really cool thing. But it's
No, I don't think we have something in TypeScript for that.
we could also suggest this would work, but this would also work if we said transformer. Then you could say transformer and then export default transformer. Maybe this is what we'll suggest people do. And then instead of import star as transformer, they just import default. I think that's what we're going to do. Oops. Yep. If you're using common JS, then, or if you're not using TypeScript, simply remove the type import and the transformer bit. If you're using common JS, then you'd also swap export default transformer for module exports. Note, if you're using export default, then it's possible that common JS consumers will need to add a default. No, it's not possible. Then to your to require your package or transformer to get it. Yeah, all right. Probably don't need to say all that, but this is, I think, what we're going to suggest people do. It's not the only way, but I think this is the best way. And when I do objects, I don't like doing arrow functions unless we're actually getting benefit from the arrow. So we'll just do that. Sweet. All right, so all that we did here, the only thing that's getting released, two things actually. Technically, we are breaking because we're no longer providing a default cache. But like I said, nobody's using this yet. But then also we're adding should transform is now async or can be asynchronous. Oh, you know what? We should test that. Just stop. Should transform can be async. So let's get a should transform. So async false. Why is this? Well, fine. Promise resolve. Okay, so then we don't need config. And let's make sure this is actually called. Hold on. If this functionality is broken, then saying nothing changed is like, well, yeah, nothing changed, it's broken. So I think I need to have it return true. And get HTML should actually do something. It changed. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That'll get us some confidence this works. Cool. Now, let's just see really quick, can I break this? This is what it used to do. No await. Why did it not rerun when I changed that? Oh, this needs to yeah. Right, because it's going to return a promise. I need to have another test here. Some site do not transform me. There we go. I don't know why my tests aren't rerunning. That's weird. Okay, cool. So this one changes, this one does not. And if we delete this, then they will both change, and that is the bug that this test should catch, but it does not. Dang it. Oh, right, because I did not make this synchronous. Promise resolve. Try that again. This will fail. Yes, good. And now it passes. Useful test. Okay, good. We did it. Okay, and get HTML.
I think you forgot a T.
I forgot a T where.
You the text in the test, so the path is do no transform instead of do
Oh,
not.
thank you.
And in the snapshot too.
Yeah. There we go. Good. Thank you. All right. Beautiful. Okay, good, good. So, oh, whoops. Now let's see. Just review the changes. And I need to go have lunch. Okay, so it can be async. And that's what we're saying here. And we had a little docs on that. Just renamed a bunch of stuff, added a test. Updated the types. Oh yeah, and we just had a silly number of changes in here. Thank you, white space, for being the worst, but it works. So, oh, dang it. So our commit is going to be feature should transform support async. Yep, that's it. Gotta wait for the commit hook. I was gonna skip it, but okay. Sweet, now we're gonna get a release. Oh no, permission denied. What? Huh, that's weird. Let's see. Oh, whoops, make that public. Packages. Oh. Ah, dang it. Dang it, dang it. This is streaming to YouTube and I just shared the password for stuff. Ah! I realized it right at the last minute. Crap. Stand by while I deal with my mistake. Hopefully nobody even notices what happened yet.
This is why we have the bot.
That's right. Yeah, that's right, actually. Okay, so that's updated. So inconvenient. This is what happens when you live stream. It's still worth it. Okay. Change password. Okay, whew. Password changed. And let's update our two-factor authentication thing. I gotta disable it first. Bummer. Okay. Okay, recovery codes, brand new. Confirm saved codes. Boom. All right, boy, that was annoying. But it's done. So let me update this message with the new info.
And luckily, it's only 2 services.
Sorry, what was that?
Luckily, it's only 2 services.
Yeah, exactly.
If it were like 10 or so, it would take a while.
Oh, shoot. You know what? I just realized I didn't save the password for the npm for the bot. Dang it. Or did I? Oh, wait, no, it's letting me change my password without entering it. Oh, sweet. Change that. Oh, wait, no, I don't think I changed it at all, actually. Maybe? I don't know. Change it. Boom. Changed to something completely different. And now it's really changed for reals this time. Huh, that was lucky. Okay, and update. Whew. Okay, that's done. I'll remember not to do that, make that mistake. But yes, I do not have access to the settings on this repo. So I need to give the core teams access to our core repository. Which is this one. How did I ever push stuff? Something weird must be going on.
Maybe I can help somehow.
I'll let you know. I thought I was an owner on the org. I think I am.
No, it seems like you're a member. I'll change you to owner.
Okay, that would be super.
Know why it
That
changed,
would
but
explain why I can't add the repository, actually. Let me
yes,
know when you're.
owner.
I am an owner now?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, there it is. Settings, nice. I wonder why I was able to push it before. Okay, but now core is belongs to the core team, which is useful, I guess. Okay. Whew, there, that was fun. So let's go ahead and try and push this now. There it goes. All right, sweet. Okay, so let me just check on a couple things over here while we're waiting for this to go. Okay, and release is going. Okay. Wonder how many people are watching on YouTube. 18. Hi, 18 folks. I haven't seen any of your chats or anything like that. So let's see. I can't scroll up. That's odd. Okay. It's kind of fun. All right, sweet. We got it released. You should have gotten an email because I think, unless, I don't know if you've accepted the forwarding. But
Yes, I have.
cool. So you should get an email announcing the release. Hooray. And this is actually good news too, because now all of the docs fixes that I made will be available as soon as that, soon as NPM gets hold of that version update. Because yeah, all these badges were messed up. And I fixed it. And I also linked to remark right here. So that makes more sense. Come on, version 1.2. All right, whatever. So here we are. Let's do an NPM update. And install all those updates. TypeScript got a patch. And oh yeah, I never updated when I generated in the first place. So that makes sense. Okay, sweet. So now I'm going to come over here to our beautiful docs. We're going to grab this thing. We're going to do that. And our transformer is oEmbed. Okay, sweet. And if I think to do some sort of like URL, then that's going to say, hey, yo, you should accept a string and return a promise or return a Boolean or a promise that resolves to a Boolean. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so now we've got this all set up. And we don't need to worry about the cache anymore. That's nice. And yeah, cool. Okay, so if we run the test, it shouldn't fail. Or maybe it will. This might fail. Yeah, because we were returning false from should transform. So that's great. This is good news. So that means that when I come back from lunch, I can get to work on the thing that I said I was going to work on when we started this thing. Okay, hey, thanks for hanging out and helping me work through some of my inner conflicts on things. I think this is a good direction that we've gone.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I have to go too, so I probably won't be able to join later.
Yeah, that's understandable. So have a good evening, and we'll see you in the future sometime.
Yeah.
Okay, bye friends.